under 35, and if you look, 50% are under 30 years old. So they just barely got their doctorates or their master's degrees, and they're the ones that are the doctors, the lawyers, the accountants, the bankers, the ones sitting in office, news media. They're all under 35. The majority are under 35 years old. So it's a very young population. It's very sustaining. So that's a big point that I wanted to point out. And these are the numbers. These are the areas that we've done a lot of research on with the Vietnamese American Chamber through other organizations. So I'll just talk about the exports to Vietnam for the American side. If you're looking to expand your business into Vietnam, these are the four main areas that are very crucial right now and growing. So the manufacturing, as you can see, a lot of the stores now, if you go in there, it says made in Vietnam. Even a lot more now than it was before. So you can definitely look at that as a strong trend. Many companies are moving their operations abroad as well because of economies of scale and also because of price of raw materials and labor. Second one is education. Before, it's just Vietnam now has about 13,000 to 15,000 students that study in the United States a year, but they want more education in the United States. This is straight from the Consulate General of the United States of Vietnam. He says that 72% of all graduating high school students in Vietnam do not have education that can fulfill their needs. Vocational training, similar to what we have here. So that, if you're in vocational training, you should think about bringing that particular area to Vietnam. And also certificate programs, MBA programs, EMBA programs, or even just 3-day trainings on marketing, social media, legal issues. You just think about that in the education arena. And then of course healthcare. Vietnam exports roughly $2 to $3 billion in healthcare a year abroad. So if you're looking to build a hospital in Vietnam, they are looking to keep it in-house as well. And of course infrastructure, as a company grows, they'll need more infrastructure and also sustainable energy. Imports from Vietnam, if you're looking to do business on actually importing some of the products as well, it's the manufactured goods, clothing, shoes, electronics. Much of those materials are produced in Vietnam right now. And of course agricultural products. Vietnam is one of the biggest exporters of rice and also seafood. 40% of the exports are in seafood. So if you're looking to purchase some products from there, then Vietnam would be the place. And I know that Scarlett asked a question about the pitfalls, and it seems like my panelists refuse to talk about the pitfalls. But I'm an attorney, and that's what I do. So I'll tell you a bit of the pitfalls, and the Asian countries are very similar in the way that they do business and the red tape. So I'm always blunt, and I always tell the truth. So you have to do issues with the word they call corruption, greasing. That's just called bureaucracy and relationships in other countries. So it just really depends on where you're from. But the three things you need that are most important in any Asian country is you need to have the political relationships, you need to have the economic relationship, and then you need an attorney in order to do business in Vietnam. It's the legal side. You actually have to understand the legal structure in order to do business in the Asian countries. So I'm not even speaking about Vietnam alone. Hopefully I speak for our other panelists that deal with the Asian countries as well. So before you do business in Asian countries, make sure that you do a lot of due diligence, build your relationships, connect with the chambers here, the experts here. And then I'd like to just close the presentation on, just to show you what you need to do in order to do business with Vietnam and the 90 million. So right now, in order to do business in a foreign country, you need to do due diligence and market research before you enter. So what better way to do it than with the low-hanging fruit? Here at the Vietnamese American Chamber of Commerce, there's an Orange County chapter and a DC chapter. We have roughly 1,500 members. And that's all over the world, including members in Vietnam. Right now, the United States has 1.55 million Vietnamese Americans in the United States. 587,000 of them live in California, and of that 587,000, roughly 320,000 live right here in Southern California. So you have this Vietnamese critical mass. It's the largest Vietnamese population outside of Vietnam, and many companies actually use this market as a test market. They test the products, they test the taste and preferences before you enter into the Vietnam market. Because of the 1.5 million, 100,000 of those Vietnamese are not born in the United States. Therefore, they just came over to the United States through citizenship, through sponsorship, and they have the same tastes and preferences of the country that they came from. Therefore, you can always test it out here. And that's the recommendation that we have for business owners here. And if you're looking to get more information about how to do business with the Vietnamese community, we're at table 19 back there, and there are a lot of experts here in education, healthcare, business consultants that you can ask more questions. Of course, I can't answer everything for you here. And that's all I have to say. And looking forward to talk to some of you about how to do business with Vietnam. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. It's always nice to have a lawyer in the house, even so. We will be having questions and answers afterwards, so make sure that you write down, and you do have the right to ask these other panelists about the pitfalls and the challenges. But thank you, Ken, for addressing it. That was really great of you. Next.